Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to see and learn the user interface and how to create an attendance tracker application. To begin with, this would be the user interface of the MIT app Inventor. With we can choose the size of the phone, whether you want the tab, you want a monitor size or the phone, or you can also choose one of the designs which are present here. So now for this I'm going to be using the Android device. You can choose whatever device you want and design it accordingly. So now we have the different tools under the palette here towards the left hand side, and towards the right hand side we have the component screen and also the properties for each of the components we're going to add. So now to begin with, I'm going to add the layout. Before I add the user interface, I'm going to add the layout. I'm going to go down here to layouts. We have the different layouts in which we can set up. I'm going to pick up the vertical arrangement here, and then when I add in the vertical arrangement, you see that I get the vertical arrangement one under the components. Now I'm going to set the property for this. So here I can set the color. Here I'm going to say none and click on the save button. I'm going to come down here for the heights, and I'm going to say here height would be 100%. That is, let it take the entire height of the screen, and then I'm going to say the width also to 100%, wherein it's going to take up the entire screen. So now we have our vertical arrangement set on the entire screen. Let's go down to the top, wherein I would be adding we're going to add the horizontal arrangement, and then I'm going to set the height and the width for this. You see that under the vertical we have the screen, we have the vertical arrangement, and under the vertical arrangement we have the horizontal arrangement. Now for the horizontal arrangement, I am going to set the height as, let's say, 5, and then the width is going to be now 100%. Okay, so this is how we're going to get it. Now let's add the color. I'm going to choose a color here. Very good. I've added the color, and we need to add a welcome message here. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go down to the user interface. Under the user interface, I'm going to pick up the label. I'm going to drag the label into the horizontal arrangement. So now you see that the label has been added here. I am going to change the label name. I'm going to rename this to, you can click on the rename option to rename. So I'm going to rename this as welcome. This is a name given to the component. So I'm going to go down here. Under the property window, you see that it says here text for label. So I'm going to write here welcome, and then you see that the welcome message gets printed over there. Now next to the welcome message, for that I would be adding the label here. Okay, and I'm going to rename the label as date and time. And then I will be going down to the option here, and I'll just remove whatever is written here because we don't want the text which is there. And then I'm going to say font bold. We would align it. So I'm going to go down here and I'll say align right. So you know that your date and time has been aligned to the right. So instead of saying automatic, I would set the height to 5% and I say okay. You do not see anything here, but then when you can see the green color. Okay, maybe you can see it if I color it with a color. So let's say red. Since there is nothing there, it is showing like that. And this line, there you would be seeing the red color. So I'm going to keep it up there. Anyways, I don't want the red color to be present here, so I'm going to say none. I would want the background color to be present there. So in this line where you see the dash, it's going to get updated with the date and time. Okay, so that would be the part over there. Next, coming down, we would add another horizontal arrangement here, and I'm going to set this height as 5% and then the width as 100%, and I'm going to be putting the label inside which says enter learner's name. So now here I'm going to rename this as learner name label. Okay, so it's added there. I'm going to give the text as enter learner name, and I'm going to be making this as bold, and also I will be changing the color of the text to black and click on save. So now you see that it's added there. Did we change? Okay, here the welcome text color is not changed, so I will be changing that to black again. And also let's make this bold. So we have it done here. So let's see what we need to add next. Moving further, we would be adding another horizontal arrangement, and I am going to set the dimensions as parent full as, let's say, 8% height, and then the width would be here 100%, and say okay. So now you see that the height and the width has been set up. I'm going to put in a text box here within which you would be writing. So let's name this text box as, okay, we have added the text box. Now here I'm going to go down here and say none, and then click on save. On the horizontal arrangement also let's say none. Okay, so here I'm going to go down. Now that I've added the text box, I'm going to go down to the text box and scroll down to the properties, and then here where it says hint for text box, I'm going to say type name. Once I say type name, I'm going to go down here and change the color to black, because when the user types in the name, the text is going to appear in black, and I'm going to make it a little bold. Okay. So now that we have done this, let's arrange the height and width. So height, I'm going to say, what was the one thing we did it for the horizontal arrangement? We said 8%. So here I'm going to add the height as 8%, and then I would add the width as 100%, and I'm going to click OK. So now that we have done this, okay, we have the text box. So here I'm going to be adding, or I'll rename the text box name. I am going to say text name. So I'm going to write TXT and NAME. Make sure that the names are understandable because you will be using these names to program. So I said text name here and I have renamed it. So the other properties we have already set it. So let me go down to the screen and then use a background color here, this one. Then I'll say save so that the entire screen gets added with a color. So now going down, okay, I am going to go down to the layout and then use the horizontal and then let's set the width and height. The width I'm setting to 100 and the height I would be setting to, let's say, 10, and I click OK. Now that I have done this, I would go down, close the layout and open the user interface, and I'm going to be adding 3 buttons here. So I'm going to add the first button, second button, and then the third button. Here you need to see that one of the button is going out of the screen, so we need to set the height and width. So we selected the height as 10, so we're going to keep the height here, let's say 8, yeah, and then the width as, let's divide the 100 into 3 parts. So when I do that, I would get around 33. So I would keep the width as 33. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to keep the height as 8 and the width as 33. I'm going to keep the height as 8 and the width as 33 here. And then I'm going to go down to the button one which is present here, and let's add a rounded shape to this. Again, for the button 2 we are going to add the rounded shape, and for the button 3 we are going to add the rounded shape. So now I think this would be 99, but it doesn't look right to me. So what I'll do is I'll just change the width to say 30. Let's see how this looks like. And then I am going to change the text which is present there for the button. So now I'm going to change the name of the button. I'm going to name it as present. You see that it's come down, so do not bother. It's going to come down like this. For the button 2 I'm going to say absent. And for the third button I'm going to say clear. Okay, so now here let's rename the buttons. So I'm going to rename the first button as button present, and then I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to rename the second one as button absent, and then the third one as button clear. So there you go, the 3 things done. Okay, so let's see what we have to do the next thing. Let's add some color to the buttons. So I'm going to go down to the first button, and instead of saying black, let's add a different color here. So I'm going to come down here and let's choose something else. Let's choose blue. So if for the accent, let's choose a different color. Okay, guys, let's change the side. Just don't feel that right. Green. And save. And for the accent, let's choose the color blue. And for clear, let's choose the color. This one. Okay. So there you go. We have added the 3 colors. Now let's see what was the height we set. We set the height as 10 and the buttons height is 8. So let's try to change the height to 8 here. Okay, this looks better. So now that we have done this, next we are going to add the list. For that I'm going to come down here. Okay, let's add a layout here. Let me say vertical arrangement, and then I am going to set the vertical arrangement here, the width to 100, and let's say the height to around 50%. Good. So now over here, let's change the background color. I'm going to say none, and I'll save this. Now on to this vertical arrangement, I'm going to add the list which is present here, and I'm going to set the height and width of the list is where we are going to be adding the ones who are present and who are absent. So here, let's add the width as 100. And then the height would be 100%. Okay. So now here we have the color of the background being set to default. So I'm going to say none here. I'm going to add this on the list. We're going to set a text here. We're going to say under the elements of string, I will say names of learners. So you see that the names of learners have come up there. It's added over there. So towards the bottom, I'm just going to pick up the last one here, which is the horizontal arrangement, and then I will be setting the width to 100 and the height will be 100. The height would be, let's say, let's just say 10, and press OK. Now here, let's set the background to none, so that would give us something like this. And at the end, I will be adding 2 labels here. Now that I've added the label, let's see if I can align this to the label in the center. Okay, so we have the label here that speaks about the text was going to say number present. Okay, and the text and the label in the center will say nothing. It will have no text. However, we're going to set the width of this to, let's say, 33%, and then for the last one I would type it as number. Last one I would type it as number absent. So whatever, how many ever number of learners present and absent will be present here. So now this is how our user interface is going to look like. Let's see if we have missed anything. I'm going to say this as none so that it looks like this. And for the labels here, maybe I can change the font size to say 16. Then the label over here, let's change it to say 32%. That's not looking good, so I make it to 30. So you can change the numbers as you wish to. Now here, let's change the label names that we have here. You see that we have added the buttons and we have renamed the buttons. Okay. So we're going to change a label here. So we're going to change the label to total present and total absent. So let's rename this. Okay, now that we have the screen ready, we would go into connect and I would say AI companion, which would open the QR code on the mobile phone or your tab or your iPad. You would go into MIT App Inventor and then click on scan QR code, and then you would be scanning the QR code, which would open the application you have just created. Okay, so this is how it's going to look. It's not very impressive. So what we are going to do is we're just going to change some of the things. Change the background color here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of saying none, I would add a background color that would make it look visible. Then I'm going to come down here, and for this I am not going to choose default. I will be choosing this color. And then for welcome, remember that we added for the date and time, remember that we added a line. So we're going to be deleting this so that it all appears in one single line. We're going to make it go to the top. And the vertical arrangement over here looks like the horizontal arrangement has come out. And then we need to put the welcome and the line inside. Now it's better. Okay, so instead of saying none, let's choose a color here. So there you go, I have the color added. Let's try to draw a line so that it looks something like this. Okay, so now that we have done this, let's go down to the text and then we're going to go down to the horizontal and we're going to use the same color to the learner. So instead of saying none, we're going to paste it here and click on save. You see that it's much better. So you see how things are changing here. So I'm going to go down to the vertical and to the screen. Let's pick up the code which is here and simply say Control C, and I'm going to come down here to welcome, and instead of saying none, I will be adding the same color here. Let's change some of the things so that it looks a little different and a little better. You see that the things have changed. Okay, I feel that since my mobile size and the size that I've selected here are different, it's definitely going to look different, differently placed. I feel that the buttons are too huge, so what I'll do is I'm going to go down here and change the button size to, let's say, 5 to 5, and then it looks much better, and then again this one to 5, and then the button here to also 5, and then let's say okay, so this looks much better, and then let's align it. So let's change the text color to black, then save, and then the button color also to black and save, and then the button present to also to black and click on save. Okay, so this looks much better. You can make the necessary changes as you want. For now, I am going to keep these things as it is. Maybe for the date and time, I can add an underscore a little bit. Okay, so there you go. Looks a little different. Now that we have done this, let's change the screen name. I'm going to go down here to the screen and change the screen name title to attendance tracker. So when I do this, you see that automatically the heading changes to attendance tracker and rest of the things are in place. I would be adding a small label here in between the two labels. So let's try to reduce the line here. So that there is and then let's remove this and we're going to set the width to, let's say, 10% and click OK, so that there is a small gap between the two, and then we're going to remove the margin here. Okay, now that we have added all the components, the last two components we're going to add are the database and the clock. So for that I'm going to come down, pick up the clock. I'm going to come down to sensors and I would be adding the clock, which is a non-visible component. It gets added as a non-visible component that you see over here. It wouldn't be present, however we would be able to use this particular component. The next thing we're going to add is the database. So let's go down to storage. Here we have the tiny database which we're going to be adding. Again, this database is a component which is going to be present here. So we have the database and also the component. You can interchange them or place them as. So these two are added. So now that our user interface is ready, okay, you can always change the user interface and make it as beautiful as you want. You can add images, you can change the color and make it more presentable. I have kept it like this.